As I was discussing about the Patanjali Yoga Sutra, and I have given a brief introduction that it has been also started with Shiva tradition, Lord Shiva's tradition, and mentioned in Shiva Samhita, and Maharishi Patanjali has propagated these Patanjali Yoga Sutra. We were focusing towards the chanting. When we start chanting in any languages, there is no differences in any languages. Whatever we are chanting, we are chanting. Chanting means you are focusing. You're focusing now, you lined up with one sentence in the form of now one sentence or two sentences in the form of shloka or sutras, right? So in the same way, in yogic practices, this is the basic book, basic text to understand about the yogic practices, how to start Patanjali Yoga Sutra, right? I would like to hear uh, let you know about only basic three sutras here. I'm not going to teach you everything here, obviously. Here we are only for the introduction, but for the introduction it is also very important. In first chapter of Patanjali Yoga Sutra, do you know how many chapters we have in ancient tradition? When we are talking about the text, in ancient tradition we don't say chapter, we say pad, right? Ek one adhyay. Okay. So when we are talking about the chapters here, Patanjali Yoga Sutra consists of 4 chapters here. That means a 4 path. And first chapter is already starting with transcendental bliss. If you hear the name of this chapter, you will get amazed, because whatever you are experiencing from the beginning till the end, which is very important to understand, to know the culture of your self-analyzation, self-realization. Some things are very, very difficult to understand one if you are listening first time such kind of things, because it is related. Yoga tradition, spirituality is always related with the awareness of your science and consciousness. And consciousness is always running in the form of elements of of subtle body inside our body, right? Now, as we were discussing about the first chapter, Patanjali Yoga Sutra has first chapter with the name of Samadhi Pad. And Samadhi Pad, here I am going to discuss 3 initial sutras which start and end here only. Only the thing, now you are going to have a journey in entire practice, entire Yoga Sutras, right? It starts with the Atha Yoga Anushasanam. Atha Yoga Anushasanam. Wherever we are practicing, we are always practicing while bowing down towards the Lord Ganesha, paying a humble gratitude towards the Lord Ganesha, as he has been blessed that whatever we are going to start a new journey in our life, if we are going to be blessed in our life, it is all with the gratitude, it is all with the gratitude and blessings of Lord Ganesha. So Lord Ganesha has started writing. Maharishi Vyas ji was explaining the sutras, and Sri Ganesha was writing these sutras. And do you know how many sutras, how many aphorisms we have in this text? According to the ancient text, according to the ancient text of Maharishi Patanjali, if you see the manuscripts, it has been mentioned 195 aphorisms in our tradition, ancient tradition. But in modern text, it has been started with 196 sutras. 196 aphorisms, because modern text has given little modifications to these sutras. So therefore that's why, for this reason, it has been started with 196 sutras. Now we are practicing with 196 aphorisms, but we considered as a 195 only traditional. Now, in first chapter, as I started with Atha Yoga Anushasanam, with a humble gratitude of our Lord Ganesha, I am going to start my yoga journey with a blessing and gratitude towards my Almighty Lord Ganesha. Now, the second sutra comes of Samadhi Path. Yoga Shchit Vritti Nirodha. That means to the cessation of the mortification of all your thoughts. You're watching your thoughts, you're observing your thoughts, you're channelizing your thoughts, you're modifying your thoughts every nanosecond in this journey. You yourself is the science experimental lab where you are doing your own research on your own body. This is all about the Patanjali Yoga Sutra. Now, if we talk about the third, Tada Drashtav Swarupai Avasthanam, that means now I have observed and experienced my whole journey. I have come to my conclusion of my life existence, of my vital force. This is all what I have attained. Everybody experience their own life. Everybody experience their all subtle experiences, the way they see, the way they reap, the way they get results. It is all about the thoughts. This is all about the Patanjali Yoga Sutra. You start with Atha Yoga Anushasanam and ends up with the Tada Drashtav Swarupai Avasthanam. And rest of the aphorisms you are reading in details. But if you understand the journey, every whole journey, whole yogic journey, you understand in these three sutras, which is mentioned in your first chapter is your Samadhi path. Now, the name of the second chapter of this Patanjali Yoga Sutra is Sadhana path. Samadhi path and sadhana path. When you are moving towards your journey, you are interrelating in the sadhana, and then you are reaching towards the third chapter, Kaivalya path, and fourth chapter you are reaching. Third chapter you are reaching towards the Vibhuti path, and the fourth chapter you are reaching at the ultimate goal. That means your Kaivalya, Shunyavastha. That's a different experience that we are not going to. But the main thing is to tell you about the Patanjali Yoga. But now, in Patanjali Yoga Sutra, what we are practicing? We are practicing Ashtang Yoga. Asht means 8. Ashtanga Yoga. We can even say in English 8 steps of yoga or 8 limbs of yoga, which is correct. Some may say 8 steps of yoga, some may say 8 limbs. But the correct one is 8 limbs. If I cut my this finger, I will have a lot of grief for this finger because this is the part of my body. So same way Patanjali Yoga Sutra has been propagated in this form, Ashtang Yoga. If you miss first limb, you are missing entire limbs, and each limb is interrelated to each other. And what are they? Ashtang Yoga, 8 limbs of yoga according to Patanjali Yoga Sutra. Please listen to this carefully. This is the most important practice in wellness and guidelines for you. First is your yam. Yam consists of 5 ways, 5 methods. What are these yam? Yam here means for the self restraints. What you are gaining, always keep in your mind, when we start, it is very important to end also, to reach your end, unless or until you are not able to understand the segment of your journey. So we are starting with the yam. So yam has only the all results. Yam consists of 5 things. And which are the 5 things? Think about it. Truth, spiritual awakening, fruitfulness. Think about it. All these things are interrelated with each other. When you are self-restraining, your spiritual awakening in these practices. When we came into the Niyam also has the 5 practices. Niyam means things to do in your life, things to implement in your life, physically also and mentally also. What are these? What are these? Purity of your thoughts, purity of your body, non-violence, dedication, austerity. Understood? There are the things, everything is interrelated with each other. Now, when we come to the third limb, when we attain these yum means when you are self restraining, no matter what, I have to make myself discipline in my life. I have to start my practice, yoga practices every day in the morning. Then you are then you are moving towards your niyam. Niyam means to implement, no matter what. I will take care of my purity, personal hygiene. I will take care of my awareness of non violence. I will take care of my austerity, right? I will take care of my dedication no matter what. I will keep myself dedicated in my body. I will keep myself dedicated towards my mental health. And when we talk about the personal hygiene and niyam, that means you are talking about here self practices inside. When you came into the third limb of your practice, that means asana. Asana is not only related with your sitting positions only, your postures, postural corrections. No, it is related with your personal hygienes like Shat Kriyas. Shat Kriyas here we are maintaining, as I said, that about the Panch Pranas. Apan means your lower abdomen, Udan means upper abdomen. Now we are cleansing our body. We are moving towards the spiritual science, spiritual journey of our body. Now I am going to first clean myself. When you have a water blockage at your home, you plunge that area and you remove that water blockage in your body, in your house, right? The same way we are doing with our body. Along first we start with the Shat Kriyas. In Shat Kriyas we have lot of practice like Kunjal, some says Gaj Karni, some says Vaman Dhoti. I don't say any yoga school is mentioning wrong. No, every has a different name as per their text followers. Okay. So in Kunjal, what we do, we have a reflex action of our water. We filled up our mouth, abdomen with the lukewarm water, and we practice this to hold that water inside our body and to clean that upper abdominal area, that means your Udan area. And then we are eliminating that water through Kunjal, and then we are practicing to clear the passage of our nasal passages, that means our nostrils, through Jal Neti, Sutra Neti practices. And there are other practices also, but first you understand these basics, Sutra Neti, Jal Neti, to cleanse your body in the form of a Shat Kriyas, and remaining water inside your body will eliminate through your alimentary canal, that comes through with the help of to balance with the Apan Vayu. As I said, it works in your lower abdominal movement, right? Now, in asanas only, then we are correcting our postures. Postures means nothing that you have to behave like a monkey. First, we have to change our mindset for yogic practices. Everybody can be flexible, everybody can do practices. Postures here means to stable our mind, and along with the awareness of my mind, I am stabilizing my body. I am stabilizing the position of my body. So there are four ways of position. There are four ways of position. That is your standing position. Few I am going to teach you, which you can generally, what we do, we give up that I don't have time, and I have a regular classes, I have a very hard working schedule. So I will only teach you those practices, very simple practices, that even if you are sitting in the sofa on your chair, that you such practices you can do it easily. Fine. So there are four positions which we are working on, that is your standing position, sitting position, and then we are working towards a prone, that means your abdominal, and then fourth is your supine position, right? When we are working in these levels, so it is very important to work towards the quality of these position. Now what is the quality of these four position? Only four ways we have to do. Say for an example, in standing position, for to stretch my body and to gain my height, to regulate my blood circulation, I am doing my Urdhva Hastotan, I can do my Vrikshasana. These challenges we do. But more than that, every practice can help you to reach your meditational goal. If you are not happy inside, if you are not happy while performing your practice, you are only doing a monkey act in your body. That's it. You have not gained it anything. As I said earlier also, breath is your primary medium. If you're not awareness of your breath, if you're not focusing towards your breath, that this is my breath and I am experiencing my subtle movement in our body in this position, that is your experience. In any form you can do meditation. That is up to you. So these four positions of our body can result you in some qualities of in quality of your performances of your body and help to rejuvenate and to gain health benefits of your body. Do remember, healthy benefits you can only achieve once you are able to understand positions. Standing, sitting, prone, supine. But along with the awareness of your breath, along with the awareness of your meditational experience, that means your subtle experience while performing that art. Right? Now we are talking about these positions towards the quality senses. What are these quality performances? It is very important. If body moves, first direction is always your backward. Then if you're moving towards your backward movement, that means your Ardha Chakrasana example we are taking. Forward we are going towards the Padhastasana. If you are moving towards back, then you have to come back in a forward position. But these days we are developing with lower back issues. I am only going to teach you those things only, right? And the third important part is your body twisting. If your body twist, you are always channelizing, mobilizing, you are circulating your blood circulation, you are working on your tissues every nanosecond, you are giving a channel, clear channel, pure channel towards your breath. And then fourth is your side bending, fifth is your stretching. These five performances of your quality can result you in these four positions. Never ever challenge. Challenge will give you a mental setback to your body, one or the later time. So just remember, work on your body, work on your mental health. Do not bother about others, what they are doing. Never challenge what they can do or not. Think about only you. Keep analyzing, keep experimenting in your body, keep researching inside your body. Now, we are still in the third limb, that means in your asana. Asana always begin with the from the head to toe, that means the crown of your head, and focus till your big toe. That is the positions where we all are working on. And now, as we are talking about the asana, that means a physical body. So physical body has five major joints. We have a lot of sub joints, sub multiple joints in our body, but we focus majorly towards the five major joint areas. It starts with the neck, first joint area. Second major joint is your shoulder joints. Then second is your trunk movements, that means your pelvic girdle. And the fourth is your kneecaps, knee movements. And fifth is your ankle joint, calcaneus point. Understood? I hope you can understand this, that we are working on these five major joints, and whatever we are performing in a form of a sukshmayam, in a form of a loosening practices in this way. We are working on these five major leaders of our body. Now we are coming towards when we cleanse our body physically. Now we are moving first step of our mental health, that is your Yam Niyam Asan Pranayam. Awareness of your breath, fourth limb. Then after gaining fourth limb, you are moving towards the fifth limb, that is your Pratyahara. Pratyahara means is that you are beholding, you are no matter what, you are determined to yourself, you're determined towards your journey, that you have come in the middle way of your journey. No matter what, I will not give up, I will move ahead. And then dhyan, focus. Focus is also in the dharana, dhyan. Now dharana will make you towards the journey of dhyan. How many limbs we have finished? Yam, Niyam, Asan, Pranayam, Pratyahar, Dharana, Dhyan, samadhi. Now we are talking about the samadhi. We are not talking that we all can reach Anand state. But yes, samadhi, that means that you have created your good karmas, good fortune every nanoseconds while practicing these, implementing these in your life, in your daily life, and you are reaching towards the samadhi. You are making your good fortune every second. We have finished that. These Ashtang Yoga. If you miss one limb, you're missing the entire journey. So just be aware in your body that what we are going to do. Now, as we have discussed, maybe some find it little boring, some find it little interesting. But our spiritual science is a valid fact of our practical and logical reasoning. How? I'll end up with my one small story, and it will be very easy to all of you to understand with the practicality and logical reasoning. There was a person, he was very harsh to the nature, and he loves to be aggressive on every species like birds or animals. For that reasons, he is eliminating his all aggression to such creatures where he nobody can respond him back. But it always says, universe always says, time is the best healer. There is always a time of every species, not only of a human form, of every species, every creature who has been created by the universe to exist. Every creature has a right to live, right to breathe. So same way for us also, it is there in a form of a yogic practices to implement our discipline in your life while practicing yoga. So that person loves to catch hold these birds and animals and to uh, strangle them in the cage. So there was one bird and she was very frustrated, and she was a very sharp bird. So that bird called up that man, his owner, her owner, and she said to that owner that I'll give you 3 free advices if you free me from this cage, and you will be successful. What she has done, she has given some kind of a bribe to that person, that if I give you 3 advice, you will be successful. We all are running behind this success. Success can only reach, success can only be gained when we attain our inner happiness and peace. And that time we are not bothering about we need success or not. Success is always with us in all the ways. So he was very curious. Okay, he said, okay, fine, I'll free you. And what are these advices? Then she gave some steps that I'll give you advices on these steps. First, you free, and if I fly, well, I am committing you that if I fly, I will give you first advice of your life to of your success. And when I will go beyond that pond, he was staying somewhere near to that pond. When I fly beyond that pond, I will give you the second advice. And when I will fly higher in the sky, I will give you the third most important, how to be successful in the life. That third advice I will give you then only. He said, okay, fine, I don't have any problem. When now he freed that bird, and that bird has started flying, and she has given first advice to that person, that to gain knowledge. First is advice is to gain knowledge. Everybody can gain knowledge. That person was unable to understand, he avoided. Then she gave a second advice. Time of a second advice, she said that you are such a fool. He got curious and aggressive and furious about that. Why you are talking about that I'm a foolish, I free you. So she said that you are a fool, that I had a jewel in my uh, I had a jewel in my neck that you can sell and you can become a rich and successful. And that time he was regrettive. First advice is always knowledgeable. Fine, he was fine, he was regretting, he was keep thinking about that what I have done, he was regretting. Now the time came for the third advice when she was very much higher towards this guy. And then she said, use your common sense, use your logic, use your practicality. He said, how? She said, I gave you two advice. You didn't concentrate on my two advices, but on my first advice I said to knowledge everybody has, but to put that logic, to put that knowledge in that logic, that how a small bird can provide you a jewel, and you trusted me and you allowed me to fly. And here comes a logic that I did not had a I did not had those two jewels, two gems, but you trusted me and you didn't use your common sense, and you allowed me to go far away from you so that you can't even catch hold me again. So this is the called intelligence. This is the called implementation of our society, how, where we have to implement ourselves. These are things, everybody has a knowledge, everybody is intelligent these days, but how to implement, where to implement, and how to use this advice towards the second advice, that what other person is saying, should I believe, should I use my common sense in that? And the third is always your practical and logical reasoning of your daily life. When you don't implement these things in your disciplinary life, you cannot go on. Same way in the yogic practices also, if you cannot leave your letharginess, if you don't leave your give up state, if you don't adapt yourself in your routine, that no matter what I will do, I will teach my parents also, you can't do anything. Thank you. Thank you so much. And now I'm going to teach you for 5 minutes some physical practices. Stay there.